and welcome to the special holiday edition of Walton Entertainment. On this edition, you'll be listening to the Yargo Band as they play some of the great Christmas classics. You'll also hear from the George Walton Academy Band and others, and the beautiful lights of the houses in Monroe, Georgia. Welcome to another edition of Walton Entertainment. Today, we'll have more news, information, and entertainment from your local hometown.
We at Sanders Consign and Design would like to wish our customers and consigners a happy holiday season. This year we are at a new location at the corner of Spring and Wayne Street, so please come visit us if you find yourselves at downtown Monroe. Our hours are Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday 2 to 5. If you would like to check us out, please visit us on Facebook and Instagram at Sanders Consign and Design. Again, from all of us at Sanders Consign and Design, Merry Christmas.
This is Greg Thompson from John's Supermarket, thanking all of our customers for a great 2019. From the staff of John's Supermarket, happy holidays and
Merry Christmas from John's Supermarket.
Are you in need of tractor work, bush hogging, grading, cleaning, sod installs, and drainage repair? Then you need Bold Springs Landscape Solutions. Bold Springs Landscape Solutions is a licensed, insured, and certified landscape solutions company. Their services include grading and drainage, bush hogging and clearing work, as well as fencing, landscape, and sod installation. Contact Bold Springs Landscape Solutions today.
We want to welcome everyone to come visit us here at Peters and Foster's at 205 East Washington Street in beautiful downtown Monroe, Georgia. We're one of the largest furniture dealers right here in the Monroe area. Been here for 70 years. We carry all brands of appliances, all brands of furniture. We have all kind of special financing for you. And we just want to let you know to come by and visit us. And we want this time to tell you and your family, Merry Christmas.
Today I'm going to read portions of my book, The 12 Days of Christmas in Georgia, as a little celebration of the holiday season in Georgia. The 12 Days of Christmas in Georgia by Susan Ross in Spain, who is me, and Elizabeth Dulemba is my illustrator. The first day they go to the beginning of the Appalachian Trail, and they find the state bird, which is a brown thrasher, and a live oak tree, which is our state tree. And so on the first day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me a thrasher in a live oak tree. So we talk about here, Jacob writes a letter home to his parents and tells them all about what the Appalachian Trail looks like and history of it and so forth. And they meet George the thrasher, George because of Georgia, of course. George will be throughout the whole book. He travels with them. So the first day of Christmas, we have the thrasher in the live oak tree. The second day of Christmas, they go to Dahlonega, where it was the beginning of the gold rush, even before the California one. And there is still gold in Dahlonega. So they visit the gold museum and they find out how much they would be worth if they were made of gold, close to $1 million. Yes. And then they actually pan for gold. And you can do this if you go to Dahlonega. So on the second day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 2 pans of gold and a thrasher in a live oak tree. On the third day of Christmas, they go to Stone Mountain. And they learn all about the carving, how it was done, how long it took, how high it is, and the fact that you can park a school bus on the back side of the horse here. So on the third day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 3 horsemen, 2 pans of gold, and a thrasher in a live oak tree. And this is Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, and Stonewall Jackson that are carved on the mountain. On the fourth day of Christmas, they go to Martin Luther King Jr.'s boyhood home and learn about how he led the civil rights movement, and they see an exhibit called Children of Courage, where they find out that no matter whether you're a child or an adult, you can still make a difference in the world. So we have 4 doves. Doves stand for peace. So on the fourth day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 4 cooing doves, 3 horsemen, 2 pans of gold, and a thrasher in a live oak tree. On the 5th day of Christmas, they go to Atlanta. And there they are at the Centennial Olympic Park. They go skating there because there's a beautiful rink all lit up and everything every year. And they learn about the Olympics and how money was raised for the Olympics through the bricks. And you can walk on the bricks and find whoever, if you know anybody that did donations and so forth. And on the 5th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 5 Olympic rings. And you can see they're skating the rings. And George wipes out here and he's not a very good skater. So 5 Olympic rings, 4 cooing doves, 3 horsemen, 2 pans of gold, and a thrasher in a live oak tree. On the 6th day of Christmas, they go to the Center for Puppetry Arts, also in Atlanta. There's a lot to do in Atlanta. And they see all kinds of cool puppets and Muppets. So some of Jim Henson's Muppets are there. There's a whole wing for Jim Henson's Muppets, including the Swedish Chef. He's there, the original. And then they go to the puppet workshop and make one of their own. So on the 6th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 6 puppets playing, and the 5 Olympic rings and 4 cooing doves and 3 horsemen and 2 pans of gold and the thrasher in the live oak tree. I'm going to stop reading the whole rest of them. Okay, on the 7th day of Christmas, they go to Tybee Island. Off the coast of Georgia, in the ocean off the coast of Georgia and in northern Florida too, that's where the right whale bears its calves every winter. So even though you can't see that happening out here in the water. There are dolphins and so forth to see when you go to Tybee Island, and it is very interesting to learn about the right whale, and that is our state marine mammal, by the way. So on the 7th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 7 dolphins swimming, and the rest. On the 8th day, they go to Okefenokee Swamp. And there are all sorts of wildlife there, of course, and they learn about what the swamp is made of, and if you and the peat that if you stomp on one place, the bushes a few feet over are going to wiggle, and it's very cool to learn about all of that. And Jacob writes home to his parents about that. But most of all, they enjoy the frogs because they are the loudest thing in the swamp. So we have on the 8th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 8 frogs a-croaking. And the rest. I'm shortcutting. On the 9th day of Christmas, this is my favorite one in the whole book because it is about Habitat for Humanity. They go down to Americus, Georgia, and they go to the Global Village and Discovery Center and learn how Habitat helps families build their houses all over the world. And they see all different kinds of houses that Habitat builds. One of my favorites is the ones in India that are built with bars on the windows to keep the monkeys out. And Jacob said he wants to let the monkeys in, so it's kind of cute. But here they are operating the brick machine where you put mud and straw and whatnot in there and press it down real hard, and when you release it, you have bricks. So on the 9th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 9 bricks for stacking, and the rest. On the 10th day of Christmas, they go to Callaway Gardens. And in the winter, the gardens are not so much what there is to see, but the butterfly house is wonderful. And it's there year-round, heated, and the butterflies are flying around. And if you wear red, they land on you. They like red very much. And you also can learn about the life cycle of the butterfly and get to see some hatching sometimes if you're lucky. I was able to see one. It took about a half an hour for it to come out of its little chrysalis and unfold its wings, but it was really cool. So on the 10th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 10 butterflies flitting and all the rest. On the 11th day of Christmas, they go to the Georgia Music Hall of Fame and learn about musicians that come from Georgia, groups like REM and the B-52s and people like James Brown and Alan Jackson. And they are now playing instruments that because you can sort of experiment with all the instruments they have there. And so there are 11 rockers rocking and the rest. And this one was really surprising, but in Georgia, we have in Dawsonville, there is a kangaroo conservation center where you can see over 300 kangaroos. It's the largest mob of kangaroos, that's what they're called, a mob, outside of Australia. So you have to call ahead for a tour because they're not open all the time for everybody to just drop in. But it's so interesting to see. And you can come right up, the kangaroos come up to the fence, and there are wallabies and all other sorts of cool animals. But that climate is very much like Australia's in Dawsonville. So we have 12, on the 12th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me, and here's the whole list, 12 kangas bouncing, 11 rockers rocking, 10 butterflies flitting, 9 bricks for stacking, 8 frogs a-croaking, 7 dolphins swimming, 6 puppets playing, 5 Olympic rings, 4 cooing doves, 3 horsemen, 2 pans of gold, and a thrasher in a live oak tree. And then we can see them parading. Everybody's in there. I counted. Elizabeth managed to put all of the animals and whatnot in there so that everyone is represented. It's really quite a feat to get them all on one page. And then we have other cool facts and stuff about Georgia. Famous people that came from here. Julia Roberts is from here, and authors and sports people and so forth. So all of this happens in Georgia. And if you come to Georgia or you have someone visit Georgia from someplace else, you can show them all the cool things that are in Georgia. Thank you, and Merry Peachy Christmas.
Creative artists can offer you a wide range of video production. Call the experts. and discuss your project today, whether it's your special event or your company. Creative Artist, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist produces this program you're watching. Call Creative Artist today, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist. They'll put you in the spotlight.
Hi, I'm Pam Valentine from Monroe Auto Brokers. We were located at 600 East Spring Street here in Monroe, Georgia. We'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That last one is, we called it the Junior Bulldog Christmas March. We added sleigh bells. That's what Helen was doing back there. She was helping us out as well on the sleigh bells to give it that Christmassy feel. The last two tunes we're playing are actually pieces of sheet music. So they learn to play out of the books. That's what we do in the 5th grade. And then we do that a little bit in the 6th grade, but we start playing what's called a piece of sheet music. So it's a whole page of music, and it's a full band arrangement. So we have two that the kids have been working on, and it's part of their transition and learning process. And the first one is "Oh Little Town of Bethlehem." The second one's called "Twisted Night Before Christmas."
We're going to do something different, a narration. This is a famous poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Now, this poem was written over 100 years ago. I don't see anybody out there in the audience who was around back then. As a matter of fact, there were only a couple of the guys in the band who were. So we're going to add some accompaniment to the narration, and some of it is a bit comical. So if you feel like laughing, it's perfectly all right. "'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Ma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to the objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, all. Dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose! He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Monroe Country Day School would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Are you in need of tractor work, bush hogging, grading, cleaning, sod installs, and drainage repair? Then you need Bold Springs Landscape Solutions. Bold Springs Landscape Solutions is a licensed, insured, and certified landscape solutions company. Their services include grading and drainage, bush hogging and clearing work, as well as fencing, landscape, and sod installation. Contact Bold Springs Landscape Solutions today.
And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and the lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was, while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in a field, keeping watch over their flocks by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill towards men." And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, "Let us go now, even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass, which the Lord has made known to us." And they came with haste, and found Mary, and Joseph, and the babe lying in a manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying which was told to them concerning the child. And all that had heard it wondered at those things which were told to them by the shepherds.
Creative artists can offer you a wide range of video production. Call the experts and discuss your project today, whether it's your special event or your company. Creative Artist, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist produces this program you're watching. Call Creative Artist today, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist. They'll put you in the spotlight.
The Polar Express. On Christmas Eve many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear, the ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. There is no Santa, my friend had insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night I did hear sounds. Though not of ringing bells, from outside came the sounds of hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe. I tiptoed downstairs and out the door. "All aboard," the conductor cried out. I ran up to him. "Well," he said, "are you coming?" "Where?" "Why, to the North Pole, of course," was his answer. "This is the Polar Express." I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard. The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and ate candies with nugget centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa as thick and rich as melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forest where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon, but the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren strait of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. "There," said the conductor, "is the North Pole." The North Pole, it was a huge city standing alone on the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. "They are gathering at the center of the city," the conductor told us. "That is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas." "Who receives the first gift?" we all asked. The conductor answered, "He will choose one of you." "Look," shouted one of the children, "the elves!" Outside we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl. So crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no further, we stopped and the conductor let us outside. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound like nothing I'd ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart and Santa Claus appeared. The elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and pointing to me, he said, "Let this fella here." He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee and he asked, "Now what would you like for Christmas?" I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled. He gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from a reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood, holding the bell high above him, and called out, "The first gift of Christmas." A clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeers' names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us, then disappeared in the cold, dark polar sky. As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver bell from Santa Claus' sleigh. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," one of the children said, but the train gave a sudden lurch and started moving. We were on our way home. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at the doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. "What?" I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. "Merry Christmas," he shouted. The Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one last small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. "Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C." I shook the bell. It made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I had shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. At one time, most of my friends could hear the bell, but as years passed, it fell silent for all of them. Even Sarah found one Christmas that she could no longer hear its sweet sound. Though I've grown old, the bell still rings for me as it does for all who truly believe.
Are you in need of tractor work, bush hogging, grading, cleaning, sod installs, and drainage repair? Then you need Bold Springs Landscape Solutions. Bold Springs Landscape Solutions is a licensed, insured, and certified landscape solutions company. Their services include grading and drainage, bush hogging and clearing work, as well as fencing, landscape, and sod installation. Contact Bold Springs Landscape Solutions today.
This is Greg Thompson from John's Supermarket, thanking all of our customers for a great 2019. From the staff of John's Supermarket, happy holidays and
Merry Christmas from John's Supermarket.